Worst movies of 2021 so far. I might just change the title of this video later if these five stay as my top five worst, which they most likely will. But I want to make it now because I just kind of felt like it. I wanted to talk about some bad movies for a minute, and I'll do a best video too. It's my best video is probably going to be a bit longer because, well, frankly, there's just been a lot better movies this year than most years I've been watching movies. Honestly, there's been some really great ones. So let's talk about the top five worst movies of 2021. Starting off at number five, a movie I just saw today, Respect. I think the more I think about this movie, the more I dislike this movie, the more I think it's a gigantic piece of shit. Because I love Aretha, frankly, and I get there's the entertainment value in these musical biopics, but it's just, this one is so safe, so formulated. The way it just brushes past rape, abuse from parents, and parental abuse very easily. And it's very sickening to me. That I really could not take how terrible this kind of stuff was. I think it's disgusting how much they wanted to brush past this stuff. And I also didn't even bring up one of the things that did annoy me about this movie, which is how much they brought up church and things like that. It's, I get it was a major part of her life, but a lot of it felt very preachy to me. And there was the other part of it being like, they kept saying shit about Aretha, like being like, her family would fight with her and they'd go, I can't deal with you when the demon's out. Whenever she would get upset, when the demon's out. And they kept repeating it so much. And it's like, these are not how these real conversations went down. This movie is very fake, very not real. And it's just, at least with some of these other ones, you can kind of just buy into it just enough and get the fun out of it. I couldn't do it with this one. This one was just utter shit. So number 4 on this list is Thunder Force. I really hated Thunder Force. It's just, I'm just getting tired of these annoying Melissa McCarthy movies that come out now, and it's just like, why are we making these movies? I get it, Melissa McCarthy sells tickets, but it's just like, but why? And this one had the decency to go straight to Netflix, but it's just like, I get you're married to your husband, but can you, not keep making shitty movies with your husband? I get he's your husband, and, but it's like, if he loves you, he will understand. And so, I don't know. I don't know what the relationship is like, but I'm just saying, it feels like, she keeps making these bad movies with her husband because they're married, so they have to keep the marriage going or something. Because it's like, I've liked Melissa McCarthy in movies. I'm not one of those Melissa McCarthy haters. I just think that she is a person who is very talented, who just chooses to make the same garbage all the time. And it's really, really annoying. And I just can't deal with this nonsense. Old is on this list too. Old is so laughably bad that my theater bursted out laughing at the end of this movie. This movie came out, and when the credit showed up, written and directed by M. Night Shyamalan, my entire theater burst out laughing. They thought it was utterly hysterical. No one treated this like it was a serious film. Everyone treated it like a joke, except for one couple during the movie. It's a horrible film, and no one should watch it. So, yeah, and then I'm going to put Chaos Walking on this list. Now, I wanted to put Chaos Walking at number 1, but so I'm just going to be really with you. Chaos Walking is objectively number 1, but the number 1 I hate a lot more for its existence, and so I'm putting this one at number 2 just so I can put that one number 1 because my brain will not let me put it at number 2. Even though this movie's objectively worse. Chaos Walking is atrocious. This movie was so bad that they delayed it from January to January. And if you don't know why that's such a big deal, when a movie comes out in January, it means that a studio is just trying to dump it and get rid of it, and it's not good. That's usually what that means. And so, if you ever see a movie in January, don't expect it to be good, or just don't go to the movies in January. Now that's starting to change a little bit because Bad Boys for Life and some other movies came out in January 2020, and they saw good numbers before. This was before the pandemic happened. Keep that in mind. And so they are trying to release some movies in January because they are seeing that is a money making month and could be. So they're taking care of that. But the reality is this is one of the bad ones, and this one did not come out in January. I don't even know when this movie came out. I basically forgot everything about it except that it's atrocious, it's dumb, and I don't like it. It's just the I mean, that sounds like an oversimplification, but I literally remember nothing about this movie except the concept was bad from the get-go to do as a movie, which is basically you can hear each other, all the characters can hear each other's sounds or thoughts or whatever. It was just boring, and it was poorly written. It was awkwardly acted. The writing made no sense, and it went through some pretty terrible reshoots that I couldn't say that they were obvious, but you could tell that like there were just probably major points removed from the movie and other stuff. It was horrible. So yeah. So let's before we get into number one, I'm gonna do some honorable mentions. Saw Spiral. I would put it on this list, but the reality is it's too competently made compared to the rest of these movies to put on here. It wasn't like poorly made, it was just poorly written. That was the major problem with the movie. And it just wasn't very good continuation of the Saw franchise like some people wanted. And then Snake Eyes. Snake Eyes I want to put on this list, but the reality is it's just like Snake Eyes I could watch again. The rest of these movies I could never watch again. I will never watch them again. Snake Eyes I could watch again. There was some decent moments in it that I should have given a little bit more credit in my review of the movie, but I still thought overall the movie is pretty shitty. So yeah, that's kind of like what I thought of Snake Eyes, I guess. I don't know. So number one is Cruella. I went to the theater to see Cruella. I didn't watch it on Disney Plus. And I didn't think the concept from the movie as a get-go was going to work, but it was so much worse actually watching the film itself. It was atrociously bad. It was terrible. I mean, it's like it was just horrible for how bad it was. It's like it just the writing, it was horrible from the get-go. Making a movie about a villain and it not being like the Suicide Squad, right? The newest one, where they're bad guys and they're treated like bad guys. They're fun to watch. That's why you enjoy watching the movie. But at the end of the day, you have the understanding that these are bad people, not good people at all. And they kill people. They do horrible things. Without that kind of understanding, it makes a movie like this pretty shitty because the movie tries to frame this character as a rebel standing up to the power, but she does evil things like kidnap someone's dogs, and then at one point you think she killed the dogs and then she didn't. And it's like, well, why is this a movie? Shouldn't be a movie. Disney remakes I give no excuse for these because I would be more okay with them. I still won't like them if we weren't getting so many. If there weren't so many people saying, this is okay, this is fine, this is acceptable, because, Disney has the money to fund original ideas. And if they were just funding better, if they were just making, like, say they made one remake a year, and then it's their guaranteed money maker, and then they make an original idea, if they were doing that, then I'd be more okay with these movies. Again, I wouldn't like them, I still wouldn't be positive on them. But what I am saying, I would be more okay with that. if they did something like that. But the reality is, people are paying for these Disney remakes, so they keep getting made, and we're not seeing anything original from a company that is the most successful company of all time. Uh, in terms of the film industry, anyways, probably the most successful company of all time is like Google or Apple, but that's not really the debate we're having here. So I just think this movie, when I went out of the theater, I think this was the only movie that made me genuinely angry. I think Aretha made me depressed. Old made me confused and dumbfounded, and then it was like Chaos Walking just bored me, and then and so like all those movies combined gave me a reaction that, while being negative, weren't like, I'm just so angry that this exists, that I saw this, that this was made at all. And to think that there was an original talent who was probably pitching Disney something so great and so unique, and Disney passed it up for some shitty remake like this, just pisses me off every time I think about it. These are shit. Stop paying for them. I don't know why people keep paying for them. I just don't understand. I get that I pay for them, but the way I see it is, I'm a critic. Okay, I tell you whether or not I think a movie's worth watching, and of course from there you can decide whether you feel like you still want to watch the movie, and if you do, that's fine. But so I don't really count. Everyday people who are paying for this do. They're the people who are supporting these movies and saying, yes, we want more of this. They're voting with their wallets. I'm not. I'm not voting with my wallet for these, and I just want this to stop. But they don't stop, and we keep seeing them. And now we're getting to the point where we're getting sequels to Disney live action remakes, and Aquarella's one of the ones that's gonna have one. Terrible movie, and I hate this movie.